Hi, everybody. My name is Jordan Levine. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am the Vice President of Partnerships here at Anderson Frank, and today we're going to be putting together a NetSuite talent playbook with data-driven hiring and career insights. So really quickly before we get started, a little bit about Anderson Frank. We are the world's largest dedicated NetSuite talent network. What does that mean? Well, we have over 31,000 organizations that we've worked with to date. We have 5 offices overseeing the US, EMEA, and APAC. Between those offices, we have over 75 consultants focused entirely on the NetSuite ecosystem, and we have 52,000 skilled NetSuite professionals in our global database. Before we get started, we're going to be talking about some of the data here that we're going to be pulling from, which is coming from our careers and hiring guide, which is from our 2026 edition that should be releasing within the next few weeks here. This is built on over 32,000 validated data points from NetSuite professionals, employers worldwide, where we're going to be looking at things like benchmark salaries. We'll talk about certifications. We'll be talking about all the different skills and technologies that are emerging in the world today specific to the NetSuite ecosystem. So later on in the presentation, we're going to be referring back to this quite often, and we'll be releasing this shortly for you to review. So let's get into it. So we're going to be going through our talent playbook, as I mentioned earlier. And first, we're going to talk about what's going on in the ecosystem, which is going to be the scarcity factor of it, how you can adapt to make sure that you're staying with the trends and being competitive for NetSuite talent, and then setting yourself up for future readiness. Okay. But the reality is that the talent market, especially in the NetSuite ecosystem, is under pressure. 54% of end users lack the NetSuite expertise during implementations, meaning that systems haven't been set up correctly, and that your future plans and goals with the system may be in jeopardy, and all of that, how it impacts your bottom line. 69% of hiring managers believe that there is an IT skills gaps in the NetSuite community, and a majority of those respondents believe that that skills gap is actually growing as well. So not only is there a talent deficiency, but year over year, we see that that gap is continuing to grow. What that means is that companies are shifting from permanent hires to contracting to immediately bridge the gap, and also factoring AI and how it reshapes technology roles, which is only going to intensify the supply and demand for technical talent because, as we know, there is a high demand for these professionals and there isn't a large talent pool to pull them from. So how can we adapt to this? First off, let's start by talking about contracting, which has become ever more prevalent in the NetSuite ecosystem over the last several years, shifting the focus from finding the direct hire candidates to bringing in contractors. So here are some ways to help you decide whether or not a contractor could be the right fit for your needs. So when looking at the project, is speed of delivery more important than retention? Is having somebody who is able to ramp up quickly, is used to going from client to client and project to project, coming in to help fix whatever goals that you're trying to achieve, rather than a permanent employee who usually takes some time to ramp up and change. Do you need a niche skill set for some sort of defined outcome, whether it's, industry based or module based, finding somebody, who's looking and has all the skill sets you need with the exact same modules in the exact same industries to be a long-term fit can be very difficult. So can we look in that in a contractor? And then are you unsure about the budget or headcount approvals? What does the process look like? Is it something you've gotten approved already, or are you concerned about getting that approval? Again, contracting is a good way to navigate those difficulties. Again, looking at permanent employees, are you looking for someone to build some sort of lasting capability, intellectual property, and aligned to your culture? Somebody who's going to be a long-term fit for a lot of different projects coming up in the future, then yes, a permanent employee might be the right fit. Again, looking at contractors, is the delivery urgent? Is it a short-term need? Do you only have projects scoped out for the next, 6, 12, 24 months? And then are you looking for a very niche expertise? On the permanent side, again, looking at somebody that you're looking to build up and to support and to mold into your organization. That's an indefinite fit for long-term projects and goals and game plans that you have spread over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and somebody who has the experience working cross-functionally from a full-time perspective. One of the factors in the conversations that I have with hiring managers regularly is about understanding the cost of contractors, because at first glance, seeing a high pay rate for a contractor may be alarming, but when you compare that to the true value of it, the costs aren't as high as they may initially seem. So, from a contractor perspective, you have to understand that these contractors are immediately available. Full-time hires typically take anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks to find the right hire, get them put in their notice, have them start, get them onboarded and ramped up. We're talking even longer than that. So understanding the cost of saving those several months in the searching efforts, the hiring efforts, and the training periods can be substantial. These are people who have proven expertise across products and industries and many different references. They're used to jumping from project to project quickly and ramping up quickly. Also, you have a lower risk of bad hires. You don't have to worry about the long-term liability of having a contractor on hand. If it doesn't work out, then usually you can terminate and find a new contractor quickly. But of course, the ultimate goal is to find a expert, somebody who is experienced in this already. From permanent hires, we often look at base salaries as the benchmark, but there's also taxes from the employer side, pensions, insurances. You have things like PTO and paid leave, training, onboarding, which we've discussed already. Um, Looking at the recruitment and HR overhead as well. Looking at your hiring managers, how much time that they're spending on these hires is also a factor. If you look at a full-time hire engineer that's going to be at about 120,000 a year and taking 3 months to ramp versus a contractor who may be costing you 600 to $1,000 a day, who's delivering the same skill set a lot faster and quicker, you're going to see that revenue recognition a lot earlier as well. So time to value does matter. Contractors deliver impact in weeks, not in months. So moving on to the contractor baseline and the mindset that you have to get around in order to secure and find contractors. So one, looking at the main risks, poor project governance and scope creep are the main reason that contractors abandon a project midway. So if we're looking at securing a contractor and hiring a contractor, are you set up to have a clearly scoped project and to support those contractors to be successful? Contractors work off of the information that you give them, so making sure that you're organized and ready to go for a contractor is very important. Securing a contractor is a lot easier than securing a full-time candidate. Usually paying their day rate and not trying to push them down or negotiate too far off of baseline is really important. Project variety, we've talked about the technology skills gap continuing to grow, so contractors like to stay up on the most up-to-date technologies. So are you trying to reuse an older technology and clean up an older technology, or are you embracing newer technologies and giving contractors the motivation to work with your team and your project to continue to build out their resume? Strategic roles is also an important factor as well, because contractors accelerate ERP transformation, not just fill gaps. So how are these people impacting your overall strategy and making sure that they understand that coming into the role? What are the expectations for contractors? Well, on average, contractors typically come in at 5-month engagements, with most contractors hiring multiple contractors per year. So, as you start to think about your 2026 budget, where can contractors fill the gap and how much work do you have for them? On the permanent hires, there's obviously a lot more to think about here because these are going to be long-term fits. So, one, understanding what type of value you can add to a permanent employee, things like certifications, right? We have right now about 41% of our respondents holding certifications. So there is a good majority of people who don't have certifications. Is that something you can offer? Giving certifications does also increase their salary and their value. So that may be an additional cost to you, but again, it's about securing somebody full time and adding value to them. That's how you're going to secure candidates in a tough environment. Work preferences is something to consider as well. While a majority of candidates do prefer remote roles, that's something that's obviously been a big push over the last few years. And even if you're able to offer some sort of hybrid flexibility, that is really important to a lot of these candidates that you're trying to secure. And it also opens up your candidate pool. When looking at some pain points too, only 51% of end user professionals are satisfied with pay. So making sure you are paying your candidates fairly, using our salary benchmarks in our salary guide will tell you where the rest of the market's at and how your candidates stack up to it. And then the hiring impact as well. A lot of hiring managers have reported that it takes up to 7 months to find a new NetSuite hire. So by making sure that you're competitive with the rest of the market, you want to make sure that you're prepared for the amount of time that it is going to take and putting yourself in the best position to secure a top level candidate. So for our hiring managers here, this is the profile, to make sure to consider again that you're being competitive in the market and attracting top talent. That's what's really important that we're looking at here. So of the top challenges, we said 57% cite attracting the right candidates as the top challenge. I just discussed it a little bit earlier, making sure that you're in the best position to secure, especially full-time candidates and contractors. Be competitive with the market. Use the information we're giving you in the career and hiring guide to tell you where the rest of the market is at and how you're stacking up to it and how you're comparing with the rest of the market. The demand for contractors are rising, which are leading to rate increases. You may be paying a premium for contractors, but at the end of the day, you want to secure the best and most experienced people. So it is something that you may have to take a look at financially. The motivations as well, cost efficiency, speed, and modernization are all the different types of motivations for candidates, for hiring managers. Everyone is trying to, save costs and move quickly and effectively, and stay up to date in the latest trends and technology. So how are you conveying that in interview processes and when you're doing reviews with your own staff and trying to retain your own staff, making sure that you're setting the right motivations is really important. And then the pain points as well, losing candidates to salary competition and AI talent shortages are only driving the need for top level candidates. So again, making sure that you're placing yourself to stay competitive in a difficult market. So let's talk about the future readiness. One thing that most hiring managers are going to have to embrace sooner rather than later is AI, right? And how AI is reshaping roles in real time and how that's being factored in. It's one of the hottest topics right now in the technology market. And again, we're talking about the increasing skills gap. So for technology-driven professionals, making sure that they're up to date in the top technologies is really important. Of course, it's all going to tie back to AI. NetSuite has recently released a new integrator with Claude for their AI platforms. So getting somebody who is skilled in that, or getting somebody in your current organization trained up and upskilled through things like certifications and data-driven capabilities is really important. With contractors, make sure to position AI as accelerators to deliver today and upskill the rest of your staff tomorrow, making sure that they're putting you and your organization in the best chance to succeed. And then for managers, when looking at AI, balancing permanent and contract resources with the skill sets needed now versus in the future, or something that you can upskill someone for and invest in AI integration and training. It's coming. You might as well be ahead of the wave rather than trying to catch up. For permanent candidates out there, investing in AI and NetSuite certifications, as we mentioned, getting certifications does prove to be about a 22% salary uplift. So for financial motivation reasons and also just marketing yourself to stay more competitive, it's really important. Looking at the benchmark salaries and benefits before negotiating, knowing that you're competitive with the market and not pricing yourself out of opportunities or pricing yourself well below opportunities is really important. Look at employers that are offering AI training and flexibility for you. So somebody who's going to add to your skill set and add to your development as a technology professional is really important. And then consider contracting for faster exposure and higher earnings. Do you have ability and time to take on a small project in an area that you're looking to increase your skill set? Maybe you've had a little bit of exposure in certain technologies or modules or industries, and you want some more. Contracting is in high demand, and it could be something that can add to your skill set. And then for contractors, we're looking at it from the contracting perspective and from the hiring manager perspective as well. So for contractors, look to gain AI and NetSuite certifications. Like we said, day rates are rising, so making sure that you are putting yourself in a position to stay competitive with the market and to earn the pay rate that you're asking. Look to expand your skill sets to niche specialties. A lot of the contractors I work with have carved out, a couple of different niches for themselves. So make sure that you're staying ahead of that and marketing yourself appropriately to the right organization, to the clients that you want to win is very important. And then establish those expectations and clear communication early on in your projects. Make sure that companies understand what to expect from you, that there's regular communication set up, and that you're able to maximize on this right from the get-go. For hiring managers, when utilizing contractors, look to fill gaps in ERP and AI delivery. Okay, if you're hiring full time, maybe find somebody who still has some upskilling to do. You can save on that rate and then hire a contractor for the larger gaps in ERP and AI. Make sure to deploy them for specialist skills that your team lacks. Again, it's all about filling the gaps. This will help to prevent burnout of permanent staff by balancing the workloads. We see a lot of turnover due to not having the right staff in place. So are you staying on top of that? And then look to partner with a specialist who can handle vetting and compliance for contractors. We do find that there is a lot of issues in terms of having the right insurances in place, and you want to make sure that when you're hiring a contractor that they're set up and that they have the right compliance just in case there's any issues in the future. And lastly, for our hiring managers, do your research to fully understand the costs and benefits of investing in AI. We've talked about the hidden cost savings that are out there. So, are you doing, your due diligence and taking a deep dive and understanding what you're hiring for, the type of person, whether it's contractor or full time, and how that impacts your bottom line? Utilize these contractors to scale and accelerate your projects. Look to strengthen your EVP by things like salary, benefits, and growth paths when you're interviewing candidates, when you're doing one-on-ones and reviews with your current candidates, looking to retain them, making sure that they understand again how they compare to the market and what the future growth and opportunity is for them within your organization. And then again, partnering with specialists to access global talents and pools of trusted tech talents. It can be very difficult out there just seeing people with a lot of buzzwords on their resume, but find someone that you trust to vet them properly. So now going through the key takeaways to wrap up this conversation here. So first off, as we had discussed, scarcity is real. The skills gap, rising salaries, and hiring struggles are reshaping the NetSuite ecosystem. We've discussed it before. Not only are those gaps there, but they're actively growing. So how are you adapting? Others are, and are you staying on top of it as well? Are you helping your candidates understand the career path by offering to invest in AI skills, which is a very hot topic right now? Are you looking at contractors while you're rethinking your workforce models and where these contractors can fill the gaps on your team? Because these contractors are accelerating ERP transformation. They have the skill set and the tools needed to do it. Are you giving them the opportunity to take that on within your organization? Because contractors matter now more than ever. Our contractors are averaging about 6-month contracts. They are demanding premium day rates as well as flexibility to deliver on the newest technologies as well. So, are your projects attractive to contractors, and are you utilizing this information to get the very best contractors? AI is foundational. Like I said, it's either going to come to you or you're going to go to it. So by 2027, 70% of ERP jobs will require AI literacy. And by 2030, 80% of ERP enhancements will be AI driven. So are you embracing the change and are you embracing the technology? And then with Anderson Frank, something for you to consider as well is that with over 52,000 professionals in our database, 1,300 interviews arranged last year, and 31,000 organizations that we've supported, we do deliver trusted NetSuite and technology talent faster than anyone, trusting vetted resources, making sure that your contractors are compliant and have a track record of success is extremely important. So, um, thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to reach out if you'd like to discuss this any further, and I hope that this helps you out.